Hello everyone and welcome back to Jimmy Talks Jira. As many of you should know by now, I am a fan of Atlassian as a company. I think their culture is great, I think their products are fantastic, but that doesn't mean that I agree with all of the decisions that they've made over the years. Extending on last week's talk about sprawl, I want to talk about another offender this week in the cloud platform, and that is team managed projects. I want to start by giving you a bit of a history of where they started, things that we have seen as they have attempted to mature them, and then a little bit into why they are the bane of my existence as an admin, and where they are right now as far as the development cycle and where they're going, leading to the question, should they still exist? There's a lot to cover, so without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so I'm going to start with a brief history lesson on where things started and where they are today. I will be using the term next-gen project when it is appropriate chronologically. So the earliest indications I have found publicly are about the introduction of the new agility boards, which came in May of 2018. And then there was an official launch about next-gen in October of 2018 as well. Now, I know that some people have theorized that next-gen projects were supposed to be the competitor to Trello. I disagree with that one, mainly because Atlassian announced the acquisition of Trello in January of 2017, and it seems weird to me that almost 2 years would have passed since then when Atlassian officially launches next-gen, if that was supposed to compete with Trello. That just doesn't make sense to me. Another line of thinking that I've heard people have is that next-gen was supposed to be the replacement for classic projects. Now, if you read through some of the wording that is used in this launch post, I believe that it is possible that that was initially true. And, some of the things that I'd like to point out here are the fact that, the workflows you built in 2010 aren't the workflows you need today. And, the fact that we have totally reimagined the product to focus on making it easier to use and more powerful for modern software teams. And then if you look into sort of the highlights they want to explore, the first one about building your own boards, the fact that they're talking about being able to customize this, all without needing your administrator's help. Now, all of those lead me to believe that the intention was next-gen projects will take over. They will alleviate some of the burden that admins have on having to manage all of the configuration for all of their teams, and that teams would be able to self-manage, and the admin would be there for the couple of pieces that still need to be managed from a global aspect, while software teams can self-manage themselves. Now, if you know anything in the online community as it relates to next-gen or team-managed projects, you will know that there was a lot of backlash at first with the lack of capabilities in next-gen projects. And if you read through, there is a great post here that Jason Wong wrote, which has a running history of a number of the updates that were done to, at the time, next-gen projects. This is a good sort of reverse chronological order of things that were introduced over the time as they tried to mature the next-gen process. Now, at the same time, I think we all know that they are not called next-gen projects today, and that came about in November of 2021, when they officially announced the fact that they were renaming next-gen to team-managed projects, and that Classic was being renamed to company-managed projects. The intention here is that they have now changed the concept so that they live side by side with each other, as opposed to the connotation that one is going to replace the other. The concern I have is that if you go and look at the roadmap today, and if you look at some of the more recent things that have been delivered, as well as a number of the things that are currently in the works, such as workflows per issue type, reimagining the workflow editor, understanding what has been shipped with deployments in Jira. All of these items are things that either exist or should exist within a company managed project that feel as though they are being brought over to team managed projects to help with the feature parity. Excuse me. My question to Atlassian at this point is, I don't understand the purpose of keeping two sets of types of projects around instead of just focusing all your effort on making one type as best as it can be, and that being sort of the course forward. To me, it really feels as though team managed projects is something that started, and you don't want to abandon them, but at the same time, the adoption level of them has not been very good. I know from my own personal experience, I have not enjoyed team managed projects, and one of the biggest problems I have with them is that while their intention was to alleviate the burden on an admin, they actually generate more work for me than the company managed projects. And one of the main reasons is that teams will be spinning up their own team managed projects. They won't be able to configure them the way they want to, and then they will come to me as the admin and ask for assistance in helping them get the things they want. The unfortunate part is that a number of times I can't help them with what they want because they don't have the functionality in a team managed project that they need or that they expect based on other projects they're using, which are company managed projects. One of the biggest pitfalls for my teams personally is the lack of components. Now, I've had the opportunity to speak with Atlassian's product team, and they have made it clear to me that components are by no means on the near-term roadmap for next-gen team-managed projects. Excuse me. And because of that, that is sort of a roadblock for us in being able to really adopt team-managed projects as a way of working. In addition, there are other things that just don't work quite the way we would expect or would like them to, as it relates to JQL searching, automation rules, and then more importantly, the moving off of a next-gen or team-managed project into a company-managed project ends up being a little bit clunky. One of the biggest problems is the epic relationships, and that if you have a large number of issues to move, if you can't move the epic and all of its children in a single move, the epic links will not be maintained, which causes more work after the fact, or more work up front to try and grab the epic and all of its children and move those batches one at a time. Long story short, I am not a fan of team-managed projects. I have tried to use them multiple times in multiple companies, and they just haven't worked for the teams the way that I would like them to. The teams always end up having to ask me for additional assistance with them, which in my opinion negates their initial need or their initial purpose, which is to try and make my workload a little bit lighter by the teams being able to self-manage. The problem is that because they can't get what they want, they end up having to go to me anyway, at which point I would rather have them in a company-managed project where I can give them the features that they're looking for. I don't want to sound like I am ungrateful to the work that Atlassian does. I think they've done some fantastic things and experiments in the team-managed projects. I just wish they would bring those to the classic or the company-managed projects and just pick one project type to move forward with. Probably the company-managed project makes the most sense, as the team-managed projects really aren't making it easier for an admin. I would personally like to see them go away. I hope you found this video insightful, helpful, and informative. Before I let you go, I want to bring to your attention PM72. If you haven't heard about it, it is a charity event being sponsored by a number of Atlassian solution partners. All of the funds raised during the 72-hour period of the event are going to the Malala Fund, which is a great cause. The PM72 event will be happening June 13th through 16th, depending on time zones. I will actually be one of the presenters there, So be sure to check the link in the description and stay tuned to that event. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel for future content, and please reach out to me either in the comments below or on Twitter if there's a topic you'd like me to cover in the future. I am more than happy to do requests. And as always, thank you for stopping by.